Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Just Pure Talk. Here, your host, Jean-Guy DJ Man, or DJ Verm. I should say, I was giving my real name, eh? Yeah, we have Truck Sam that's there, and we have Doc Fallujah, who's back from Haiti, Africa.
Haiti?
I'm just joking around with you. I don't know where you were back from. It's been a while you weren't there, so.
Oh, I went to church every Sunday for a while, or every Wednesday for a while.
Oh,
You,
okay. So
you moved
gone.
the podcast and it became a conflict with church.
Oh, okay, great. Well, church is important. So, yeah, ladies and gent, church is important. So, hey, how you doing, everybody? How you doing, Truck Sam? Truck Sam is in the house.
Sorry about the last 2 weeks. Got a little hectic, but I'm here now. Doing
You're
pretty
there?
good.
Yeah. So, where are you now? Where are you? I know you're in your truck. So, where are you?
I'm in Billings, Montana.
Oh, Montana.
Mhm.
It's a
Up
nice
by
place.
the up by the border of Canada too.
Yeah. Well, it's not too far. You're right.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
think I'm closer to Canada than you are, sir.
Maybe. Yeah, but it depends on which part of Canada.
Well, I'm definitely
true.
closer to Verm, but I'm only an hour and a half drive up to the Canadian border.
Probably would take me about 2.5 hours probably to get up there.
You got to drive slower though in there in Montana. They limit your speed to 55 miles an hour.
No, 70 for trucks.
Oh, you can go 70 now?
Yeah,
Oh,
you can do 70.
oh,
70.
used to be 55.
Oh, that's California. That's freaking California. They can go to freaking, you know what? Communist state.
They'd fall off the map eventually, anyways.
I saw one hell of a party. I actually got pulled over by about 6 of us got pulled over by about 5 state troopers for making comments on the CB about that.
Are you serious? Yeah.
Yeah, but about probably 8 years ago, and there's a bunch of us. We were doing night shift, and we were hauling butt, and we were talking on the CB about throwing a hell of a party if California falls into the state, and we'd say, "Yeah, we're going to Nevada. We'll throw a hell of a party." Next thing you know, we had 5 state cops pulling us all over.
Would
And
they
he
give you
said, "Oh, we don't." They were trying to give us tickets for slander.
Oh, good luck.
And
That's a symbol.
And they're like, we can fight that freedom of speech. It's something we want to have happen. Because that whole state's a little loony, but otherwise you can't do nothing. We'd win and we'd sue you guys and win a hell of a lawsuit because you're cringing our freedom of speech. We weren't doing nothing. We weren't saying we're gonna do something bad or anything. It's just like, hey, if it falls off, we'd throw one hell of a party in Nevada.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Oh, so let's have a party. So now we're talking about party. Doc, what was your party? You've been a while off.
Well, I could have joined last week.
Okay.
If I would have got there when you did.
Well, weren't you having technical issues or something like that?
No, I was driving into Sam's house.
Yeah, but we have a rule now. It's everybody everybody has to be on before 9 o'clock. If they're not on, you can't get on.
But that's not what you told me yesterday. Or
What do you
last
mean?
week, excuse me. Last week you told me had to be 30 minutes early.
No, you're 30 minutes early. Yeah. I'm talking about late, not early. Early is for planning. But sometimes people like Akai should be on later. Akai is missing for some reasons. It's the same thing as I. Yeah. So let's stop talking nonsense. So hey, a lot of stuff has been going on this week. Well, last week I should say, because when we talk about last week. So what were you having as news?
Oh, well, we could talk about P. Diddy.
Yeah.
I haven't heard nothing about that lately.
Oh, the trial started this week, but I don't know very much about it. I'm trying to read up on it.
Yeah.
They're talking about how he's being charged with racketeering and sexual trafficking. But one lady was talking about how he beat her up when they had dated, and they're like, "Well, he's not on trial for domestic violence." Well,
yeah, we saw the video.
Yeah, I was gonna say, usually when you're trafficking women, it leads to abusing them too. I don't like. I've seen a few.
Well, the thing is, have you heard about that there might be ties with the CIA?
What do you mean?
I've heard that a couple. Well,
No, I'm not
what
going
I've
down that rabbit
heard,
hole on this channel. The
well,
CIA can do
what
the
I've
CIA whatever they want.
well, the other thing is, what I've heard, these are rumors. What I've heard was the CIA was using him to get information about other people so they can use it when they need to use it to blackmail these people into doing what they want to do.
Akai
That's
should be
one
joining
rumor.
shortly, Verm, by the way.
And then on top of that, he has. They said that he also.
Talking about Akai.
Oh, there he is. And they had rumors where that he actually killed. Sorry, offed somebody with a certain drug that looked like she died from pneumonia at an early age.
Are you serious?
Yeah, you can look
Yeah,
it
a
up.
couple of them have died from that drug.
Yeah, and the other thing is, when they did the autopsy, they couldn't find any of the drugs, so they put it down as ammonia. But they're like, well, these people are dying like at 30, early 30s or late 30s, and they're like, at that age, I'm sorry, but ammonia?
I got ammonia when I was fairly young,
Well, me too. I mean, it was what, 28?
but
Yeah.
I was working in a cold, wet area, working on sewer lines, exposed sewer. You know, there was a lot of extenuating circumstances.
Yeah, but the other thing is, they died pretty, in what, like 24 hours, if I remember right?
No,
I heard.
it lasted longer than that, I thought. But
Yeah.
But that's being evil.
Oh, yeah. Some of the things, when you got money, if you start looking at some of these people's backgrounds, what they've done, and it literally probably make governments look like angels.
Are you serious?
no.
Oh. They'd be pretty close to it.
Okay.
Well, another one is Qatar is working with Qatar Airlines is working with Boeing, and they made a deal that's worth right now $96 billion with an escalator of $104 billion to purchase, I think, 180 jets of 777s and 787s.
Did you see the gift?
I heard there was a gift.
I'm sorry, it's ridiculous.
What?
This is more than bribery. It's fucking crooked.
Well, they're going to give him a gift. Brand new airplane, luxury airplane is what they want to give him for helping with the deal.
Yeah, I know, but as a president, he's not supposed to accept it.
No, he can't accept it. He
And
can't accept it.
and you know what they said as a rumor? They said that afterwards, when his mandate's finished, it's gonna be his plane.
It can't be.
Can't be.
I know.
Because my understanding is any gifts that are given to the president in his term goes to
If the presidential library gets some of them, there's all kinds of organizations that get those gifts, or they get kept at the White House.
Well,
it has to be under a certain dollar value.
Yeah,
and
but how much is the plane?
Yeah.
How much is the plane?
$440 million.
There's no way.
But if they're buying 180 planes from Boeing, and he goes,
and they're using GE engines, not the normal engines.
So they're buying American products. So he's going to cut them a deal. He's not going to charge them the tariffs on it, and they're going to be happy because they're getting tariff-free planes, and that's why he did the tariffs. As much as people hate it, the numbers for the economy are up. Housing is up. It's a buyer's market right now.
I don't like what he did with China. That's the only thing I
China.
don't like. Oh, well, he made a deal with them for 90
He did
days.
make a deal with China for 90 days, but it's not going to save them because they're going to say something or do something stupid. And what are they going to do? Flood the country for the next 90 days with product?
The other thing is, it's something where they never keep their promises. They have broken so many deals. They said, "Oh, we don't buy this much."
You too, white man. You too, white man. Broke your promises. Ha, la, 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 la.
What was that?
A Native
We're talking
American.
about the
We
Indians.
promised.
Yep.
I know.
But
There
how
is
long
not.
have we-
There is not a group of people in this world that has not broken a promise to somebody.
Jesus.
Not like China.
Well, Jesus is the only one that I can think of, but
I won't even touch that one.
but
Don't even get me on religion.
well, yeah, because you think you're an atheist, but you're not. But
I believe in God, but I don't believe in organized religion.
Oh,
okay,
It's
well,
different.
congratulations, whatever you want to believe.
he's allowed.
Hmm.
Okay, but then let's not talk about religion. We're all gonna
Yeah.
hit each other.
No,
I don't
I'm gonna
think that
say
at all.
something, and he's not gonna like it.
You can say what you want, but I'm gonna blast right back at you.
Okay,
It's not.
Hey,
a
Sam,
show.
are you the
Yeah.
younger brother? Or the
man the
older
fuck
brother?
up, because it's coming, buddy.
Bring it on.
You bring it on. I don't have to bring it on. I'm not going to argue with you.
Okay.
There's gonna be simple rules, and if you don't follow them, then so be it.
Hey, let's change subject. It's personal.
So,
Oh,
so
it's personal.
So what he's
I got
giving out
yelled
is
at for half an hour for something that I said because I asked him to go somewhere. So fuck him.
I know, but let's talk
Okay,
off
let's
air
move
of
on.
that. Yeah, let's talk off.
So
air.
so what they're doing, they're choosing the 400 GE engines over from GE Aerospace over the Rolls Royces. So the Britain's really getting caught out of that deal, and it's 3777 X's, which are supposed to come out next year, but they're 6 year behind schedule. And sorry, it's only 160 total planes, so it's 137 87s. But those are all like really
Well,
nice.
what's
planes.
the total price tag on that?
Did they say 96 billion? However, like I said, there's
That's a lot of
option
money
to,
and a lot of jobs.
yeah, there's an option to buy 50 more during the visits. So they may get an escalator, and that escalator is 104 million, or 104 billion for the next 50 jets. So it's worth up to $200 billion, which is, as you said, it's a lot of jobs.
It's a lot of jobs
Well, I
and a lot
mean,
of money.
Wait, it's a lot of jobs, but don't forget one thing: planes cost a lot. Eh?
No,
No, you know what?
They
You know
don't.
what? Planes don't cost a lot. You know what costs a lot in the aerospace industry?
FAA?
Lawyers.
yeah,
And fuel.
Well, yeah, but I mean, okay, yeah.
Planes aren't expensive. It's lawyers that make them expensive.
Okay.
Because
then you have
before when you had a plane and you needed a bolt, you went to the hardware store and you got the proper grade 8 bolt or the grade 5 bolt or the grade 5 screw, and you put it in your airplane and you were good to go, right? No big deal. But now, when you get that bolt for an airplane, they could tell you where that stuff was mined, where that ore came from. And when you're paying now that bolt, instead of being 35 cents, is $900.
Okay.
so it's not that the planes are expensive; it's just they're getting gouged, kind of like the military does on everything else they do.
It's because
Well,
they're lawyers. It's legal. It's legal beagle. It's like the stuff that's happening with truckers right now. Trucks are cheap. Trucks are cheap to produce. But it's all illegal.
Okay.
Huh. Yeah, like down in Warner, Texas.
You know. Did you see the article with was it Arkansas?
Yeah, that
Arkansas? They're pulling
Yeah.
people over at way stations now. If you can't speak or read English, if you can't read or speak English, you're getting pulled out of the truck, you get arrested immediately, and your company gets fined immediately. And it's like
Oh, yeah.
$10,000. Was it $10,000?
I'm not sure if
5,000.
that's legal, but damn.
It's not.
it is legal.
It is
The only
legal
thing is,
because Arkansas has a rule for their drivers that they have to be able to read and speak English. And if
actually,
you can't read, write, and speak English, it's now an executive order.
Yeah, it's
If you
executive
can't read,
order.
write, and speak English, and you have a commercial driver's license, then you're no longer allowed to drive.
Well, the only
What?
thing is, here's
How
something that's
how in the hell did they get the license?
I was just going to talk about that. They're buying them.
They take.
Yeah.
It's like the citizenship
Wait,
test.
don't all talk at the same time.
No, but it's like the citizenship test, right? You can come to America, spend 7 years here, not speak one word of English, and go take the citizenship test in French.
Yeah.
But we don't speak French. We speak English. So take it in English. The whole test should be in English. Clinton screwed that up.
Oh, yeah. The other thing is,
it's done in a ton of different languages, and it should only be given in English, period. Because if I went to go take a citizenship test up in Canada, in Quebec, I would probably have to take it in French.
Yeah. I think.
But if we make,
it depends on what you have to take, but yeah.
But if we make,
I would probably have to be fluent.
Texas,
so if I get a driver's license, license in Quebec, do I have to know how to read and speak in French?
No.
I have to know the road signs in French.
Well, yeah, there's some tests that you have to go through. I mean, yeah, but I mean, technically, no, because there's some laws that protect the French language, but we're still a bilingual country.
So it's either English or French.
It's English or French.
But
Because
you
it's a
can't come
bilingual.
up there and speak
By the
Spanish.
Canadian law, it's bilingual.
But you can't come up there and only speak Spanish and then go there and take the citizenship in Spanish.
Well, there's a lot of people that speak different languages. It's the reason why they're reactivating the law on the French language, because there's people that are not answering. When you're in Quebec, you're supposed to be welcomed in French, okay? Because it's a French province. Even if they feel that you're English, they're supposed to say, hi, in French. And
Bonjour.
now they don't anymore. Who talk Chinese, who talk Hispanic, who talk, and sometimes people, they bring people in business that have problems talking French.
Yeah, but why do I have to? So you're doing the same thing that we're doing down here, but it's a problem for us, but it's not a problem for you?
No, I didn't say it wasn't a problem for you. I didn't say. Well,
you said it wasn't right. It wasn't legal.
Yeah.
No, I mean I feel it's well, no, you're right. I may be messed up on that one. I mean, I didn't think through it. I answered and I didn't think through it. So you're right. It's true. I mean, if the person doesn't know, it's what I feel is illegal. Okay, now I know. Because
when I go to a different country, I try to learn that language. I try to at least learn some of the language while I'm there, so I can better assimilate, even if I'm visiting.
Yeah. No, but Akai, what I wanted to say, just to make sure, it's that lately everything is being pushed out by everybody that doesn't know how to speak English anymore. And yes, you are an American country where English is dominant and it's normal.
This is not a bilingual country, though.
But you used to be a big melting pot. Now you're not. Now you're just like.
Whoa. We'll get to the melting pot thing. The melting pot was the melting pot into an American.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can bring your Indian cuisine, to a barbecue. That's cool. But when you get to the barbecue, you speak English.
Yes. And back in the old days.
And if you don't want to eat the cow, then we'll make you a chicken hot dog instead of cow hot dog. We can respect that. That's okay.
Yeah. And if you want to bring your culture, like parts of your culture over, we have no problem with that.
But you should be able to read. You should be able to read, write.
Well, I can
fluently in English.
I can speak to this very closely more than anyone else. My wife's from Jamaica.
Yeah.
They have a language called Dawa that she can very much speak. However, she speaks English. Now, it's not necessarily my version of English because she grew up in the United Kingdom, which is, just a different flavor of English.
Yeah,
but
there's the different
when she
flavor.
goes
to be or not to be.
No, it's not that type of English.
That's American. Yeah.
When she goes to the store,
English.
It's old English.
They expect her to speak English. When she went to the immigration appointment, she had to speak English. They didn't have anyone at the U.S. Embassy in Jamaica that spoke Mandarin. They didn't have anybody that spoke Farsi. They didn't have anybody who spoke Hindi. And nothing against those languages, but you had to speak English. How are these guys getting all the way here without going to that
Jump
appointment
for the
where
border.
that's not necessarily true in all cases.
That's true. But the other thing is, like Akai said, Bill Clinton screwed that up because he allowed Spanish as another language, and that was a mess up.
I don't think we've ever had a English only in our country. Have we ever had a national language? Since I was a kid in school, we never had one.
We were supposedly almost German.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I understand.
I'd feel bad for the rest of the world if the United States and Germany teamed up during World War II. Because we would all been saluting differently and waving different flags.
There's a video on YouTube that actually dove into that.
English is the official language of the United States.
Well, didn't Trump sign an order on that?
Yeah, but the other thing is, Bill Clinton, in his reign, he allowed Spanish.
Well, yeah, that's a new executive order. Verm is right, of March 1 of 2025.
Yeah, because he wanted to stop all that, because of languages.
But so we were trying to touch on the truckers. What I had heard, and I don't remember where I heard this from, so I can't cite this source, but there is a program that they have for a lot of foreign nationals that they are buying their truck driving license. And when I say buying, someone is going and taking the test for them and pretending to be them.
There's a lot of problems with up in Canada about that, if I remember right. Where these schools were getting these trainers that were like third-party people that did the testing, and they got that. And the same thing was happening down here, where they were paying off the.
Well, I'm not going to blame Canada.
Pete,
I'm going to tell you overseas.
No.
Wait, some of those guys.
That's what's going on.
Wait, what's going on in Canada is that we have a part Quebec and we have a part, say Ontario and everything else. So rules are different in different provinces. Okay.
Yep.
And in Quebec, it's really strict. Truckers cannot be mixed or whatever, what you're talking about. But in Ontario, I had an opportunity to talk with one of the ministers when I was in Ontario Kitchener in a congress, and she was there, and I was talking to her. Then I go, because my brother-in-law, is a trucker. So, and then I started talking to her, and I said, God, man, some of these Bangladesh people are like, it's like crazy. Yeah, they're driving trucks in Guguns and stuff like that, and And then she goes, well, yeah, it's true. They get their permit in 2 weeks. I go, what?
Mm-hmm.
So I go, what?
There's a video on YouTube about that.
Yeah. So 2 weeks, they come out of the boat. They go take a crash test. They do maybe what you're saying. And in 2 weeks, they got their permit. But they don't know how the hell to drive because in Bangladesh, when you drive, you hit everything. So,
Oh, yeah, or they're driving down the wrong way and they don't understand the the road signs either, because Canadian drivers, they can drive into the U.S., but they can't do the, going to one state to another state. They have to drop off their load, pick up another load, go back to Canada.
I disagree.
Well, my brother-in-law goes, he already went to Texas. He already went to a couple of states. But he does do drop off. I mean, he does. He takes his.
I'm going to tell you why I disagree.
Because he drops off and then he picks another one and goes back. Yeah.
There's a company called Bison Transport out of Winnipeg. I see those guys in North Dakota. I see those guys in Minnesota. And the only way to get to Canada from Minnesota is to go through North Dakota. That means you're crossing the state line.
Well, there are crossing, but what I'm saying is they can deliver their freight into any state of America in the 48 states, lower 48, but they cannot pick up freight.
Sam, we don't hear you.
All right,
we don't hear
Akai,
you.
We don't hear you, Akai. Sam, we do hear you. Keep going. I apologize, Sam.
But it's something where they can't pick up freight in another state and take it to another state. So it all depends on what they're doing. There's some businesses.
Well, they probably cannot because you'd have to pay Minnesota tax or.
Well, they can take it all. They can go from Winnipeg all the way to Texas to drop off their load.
Yeah.
Correct.
But there is some companies that do hire local drivers in the United States but their trailer says from Canada. They're legal to do that. They can deliver freight in other parts.
I'm not so
of the
much
United
worried
States.
about Canadian truck drivers because they have pretty strict standards on their trucks and their trailers.
They do.
It's the ones that are coming up from Mexico that can't pass DOT that are traveling halfway across the country to drop their load. Like,
Yes.
they should have to go through a DOT inspection before they cross the border. And I don't care which border they're crossing. You should just go through a DOT inspection and, okay, you're legal to drive on these roads. Here's your temporary sticker.
Well, when I was going through many years ago, maybe, what was it? 14, 15, 16, sometime in that time frame, I was going through Arizona with my dad, and we got stopped.
Yeah.
They had checkpoints on the road. They were looking for illegals.
You're talking border inspections?
No. We weren't on the border. We were in the middle of the state of Arizona, I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
but they have border inspection stations that are like, 100.
Yeah, but they can only do it. They can only do it within so many miles of the border.
Yeah, it's like
They
what is it,
can't-
150 miles?
You can't like plop one in the middle of Nebraska. You
Yeah.
know, that's not legal.
Yeah, because you get them in California. Definitely on like I-8.
My favorite stop in California. Favorite
Really?
stop is at the border when they go, "Do you have any citrus or fruit?"
Oh,
And every time
cultural.
they have an agricultural checkpoint
Inspection
for all vehicles. For all vehicles, it doesn't matter if you got fruit or anything like that, fresh fruit. They will take it from you. They'll confiscate it because they don't want fruit flies getting into the state.
They also, when we come in from Jamaica, there's a certain tree you can't have. Because we only have males in our country. And I don't remember what it is. They won't let you bring any nuts in. You can bring patties, but they get mad when you bring too many patties. Patties is like this. It's kind of like, I don't know if you guys had cabbage pockets before, but it's like a pocket that
You mean a cabbage burger?
yeah, but they just have meat inside instead of cabbage. Hi,
I think I know
princess.
it.
My little girl's over there. Just got done with bath time.
Aha. So, okay.
The one thing that I wanted to mention though, that my dad's been driving trucks since 1980 or 1978. He has, I think, 10 or 12 million miles. And
Okay.
his biggest complaint is you actually are supposed to wear shoes while you drive truck. And a
Yes.
lot of foreigners wear sandals. It's actually against
That's
the
what I'm saying. When I said Guguns, it was sandals. Yeah.
law. Okay.
Yeah, because by DOT and OSHA, you're supposed to be wearing steel tip boots or shoes.
Yeah, because you go in warehouses and you go in all these different places, and again, you know your cargo. It depends what you do. I don't know if you take out the cargo or is it people that take out the cargo from
Well,
your truck.
you're also driving a truck that you may have to change
Yep.
a tire on. The tire's as big as you are.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah.
The other thing is the language thing. There was a law that was put in place back in. It's called CSA 2010. And that was one of the requirements was the languaging, but they never enforced it that good. They kind of like,
Okay, good. It's crazy. Hey, so I have something. I saw something this week on the news that because of the tariffs, there's big multinational companies that are deep diving into maybe either a recession or shutting down. And one of the things that surprised me is McDonald's. McDonald's is not going well.
McDonald's hasn't been going well for the last few years
yeah,
because they are charging way too much money for the crappy product that you get.
mm-hmm.
Well, for sure. Yeah, it went up to what, $15 for a Big Mac, a pop
Well,
and some fries.
Yeah, but why did it go up that high?
Everybody's trying to make money.
No,
Yep.
It's because they raised minimum wage.
California.
Okay.
So they raised everything else.
No,
If you make minimum wage $25 an hour, a hamburger and some French fries is going to cost you $25.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you that if
It's
you start
simple
a McDonald's
economics.
at 14 years old in North Dakota, the least you can get paid is $15 an hour.
Well, that's what it is here now in Canada.
Yeah.
In Canada, it's
Yeah, so why do you-
almost $16 an hour?
Why are people shocked that it costs $16 for a burger?
Well, no, I mean, I'm totally right, but economic wise, I mean, the economy is not going great. I mean, for anybody,
It's going good here.
Well, you keep saying that, but it's not what we hear.
It's going
So
good here,
it's
man.
great. If it's going great for you guys, I'm happy because I mean, and it's still going
Well-
great for us too. It depends what we're talking about. Depends what we're talking about.
Well, here's
You
the
keep
thing.
saying
Verm.
the housing and all that, but no one can buy a house.
It's actually
Houses are too expensive.
It's turning into a buyer's market right now.
How much
Well,
are they still
yeah.
costing? 400,
The buyer is going to have a really big front to buy a house, Akai.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't tell me a
But
house
you
costs $100,000
you know what?
in your place.
Maybe
Almost $1 million.
people should man the F up and build their own goddamn houses like they used to back in the day.
We need that big house for me.
Well,
No,
but again,
maybe
yeah.
these carpenters need to build like a 1-bedroom house with a shower and a thing and a little kitchen. You know why houses cost so much? Because everybody wants their fucking mansion, on their lot, and they want 47 bedrooms and 15 toilets, and then they wonder why their house costs them $1 million.
yeah, no,
I go
you're
for a
right
nice
on that.
studio.
Yeah, you're right on that one. I mean, totally. Well, that was, why that happened, eh? Because I remember in our time when we used to buy a house, we used to look
MTV
at
cribs.
that and think about that. But now when the interest rate went down and the housing was just starting to rumble, well, the younger generation all wanted to have already a house at 700,000 or $1 million. But they can't afford it. They can't afford it because I know people that lost their
That's
house.
why I think Boxable is going to crush it.
Who?
Boxable.
Is that that's it? What is
Boxable makes these tiny homes, man, and they're making these La Casitas right now for $50,000. It's got a living room, a bedroom, a kitchen, and a bathroom, and comes with a shower, dryer, hookup, all the appliances already in it. And do you know how much it costs? It's a little over $50,000.
I can go for that.
You literally sit it on a pad, hook up your sewer and water and your electricity, and you're done.
Hey,
in a truck.
Sam, down by where your family lived there in that southern end of the state that I used to live in, there's a 4-bedroom, 1-bath, 2,000 square feet for only $50,000.
Yeah.
man.
Well,
you know what
that's
they
the
need?
thing.
They need 6 bathrooms and 7 bedrooms. That's
But
problem.
renovation, you know what? Why does every house have to be in move-in ready shape?
No, I'm not saying that. But I mean,
but people aren't going to move. People aren't going to move to, to Fulda, Minnesota, or to Iona to go live in a small town and then have to worry about where am I going to work. No, they're going to move to the big city. And when they move to the big city, well, location. You got to pay that. You got to pay that premium for that house.
Well,
if I was to take my house and put it down south somewhere,
okay,
what, $400,000?
Yeah, no, but I know where you're going with this. But what I'm trying to say out of all this is, like you said, well, the housing's going up. There's buyers and stuff like that. The buyers have enough money. I'm talking about the medium class.
$75,000 to $100,000 a year now.
Yep.
In order to afford the mean average home in the United States.
You know what a $75,000 salary is really worth today. It's not even worth $50,000. You got the $75,000, but the value
there it isn't. I make $75,000 a year, and I'm clearing 66 or 67.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's what they're saying. It's like the 100,000 salary is now the new 56 in. I'm trying to figure that out.
Why is that though?
It's the new 56.
Why
when
is
you have 100,000? The cost of life is so much
But why
that
does it cost so much?
What?
Why is so much money missing out of that check?
For all different reasons.
It's for all the social services. It's for your military. It's for the government. It's for maybe it's time to start cutting the fat and give Canadians back more of their money, just like Americans. There's some people that are running for governor now. Like, was it Senator Bottoms that's running here in Colorado? He wants to eliminate state income tax. He goes, there's no reason the state needs to tax your income. Not one. If you want to buy a product, then that's where you get taxed. You know, they shouldn't even technically be taxing your property.
Property taxes.
Because you've already paid for it.
But you always you always had property taxes.
No, we haven't.
No. Not since like 1912. But 1912 they
income tax was supposed to be a temporary tax.
Yeah.
During
state
the war.
and federal level for war. And they said, oh, that's a lot of money. We like that. We're going to keep that going.
You know, because the only time we were supposed to be taxed was during wartime. And after that, it was supposed to go away. Everything was paid by tariffs.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
They had tariffs. They tried to
tariffs and licensing fees covered all
but they tried to
governmental expenses in the
like
1800s to early 1900s.
And it never worked.
It did work.
Yeah,
They said it.
We weren't in debt.
Yes.
Okay. That's what you're saying. It's not what I hear.
We weren't in debt back then.
It's okay. We're going to annex Canada. We're coming. We'll help fix it.
You're going to get in so much trouble. And you're going to get so much hate. It's not even going to be funny. Looking.
Me or him?
You. Look, you know, Trump took it a little too far. I know he was joking, but yeah.
Oh, I'm obviously joking. We're obviously not going to annex Canada.
Yeah, we've had our, we made our smart comments when it first came out, but after that, we stopped, dude.
Canada missed out in 1776 when they were.
You're the one that's going to have ice in your door. Not me.
No, but there's a lot more social programs.
We're paying for people that want to do nothing.
That you guys pay for that we don't pay for, like public health. Like our public health is minuscule. If we paid for public health like you guys do in Canada, 75,000 would probably be 50,000 take home.
It's not just
gas and I can't explain. Here's the other thing that gets me about Canada. Your price per gallon or price per liter on fuel, the taxes that they slam onto fuel is absolutely ludicrous. It doesn't cost that much to build a road.
They don't even.
They're paying for all the social programs.
Well, we got that. What do you call tax that got taken out? I think it's 8%, something like that. Yeah. But it was ridiculous. It is ridiculous, the price of gas taxes.
You guys refine it up there, don't you?
And then sell it to
us. Like
that's right. You don't have any refineries.
No, but we have refineries. Yes, there's refineries in Montreal, so we have refineries. The thing is, it depends on what you're talking about. The oil that is produced in Alberta, it's a special kind of oil that you guys have the factory to transfer it back into either oil or gas.
Okay.
And there's another country that has it. I'm trying to remember who.
Which is why they wanted to build the pipeline through North Dakota, if I recall correctly, because it was coming down from Alberta, going through North Dakota, through Minnesota.
Trump's supposed to fire that back up again, isn't he?
Was it the pipeline something?
There was a pipeline thing where they were firing up that pipeline again.
But the thing is, all the oil out of Alaska, we can't refine. We have to send it overseas.
I think it's something like that, yeah.
Why? We can refine it. They just don't want to refine it. It's probably some EPA thing.
No, it's because probably it would crash the gasoline market. because they can't claim, oh, we had a ship
I think we need to piss off Saudi
refine
Arabia
it.
again. Every time we piss off Saudi Arabia, they flood the gas market and gas prices go down.
Well, somebody was telling me the average price you was talking about the average price of gas?
Might have been.
Like it was $1 cheaper than it is here.
My gas is let me look at my phone. I have an app called Gas Buddy.
Yeah, it was like it was crazy. It was like because here it's still like $3 something a gallon.
I can go to Sam's Club right now and pay $2.60. Costco's $2.62.
How much is diesel? Why don't you say how much is diesel? You know how much it costs to fill up this truck every day?
Well, I don't care.
You should, because it goes into your prices of everything you buy.
I don't buy anything.
He doesn't buy. He buys it from Amazon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just magically shows up on my door.
Fargo right now, the current average is $3.34 a gallon.
Yeah, because on average per day,
if it's $3.34, then why does this Gas Buddy say $2.60?
No,
that's for diesel.
For diesel, just for diesel.
Oh, for diesel.
Yeah, because what I pay per day is between $550 to $700.
Why is diesel so much more than gasoline when diesel is a byproduct of making gasoline?
We're a trap market. We have to buy it.
We're a trap market. I have to buy gas. What's your point?
Oh, no. We're more of a trap market. They know they can jack the price, and they say, oh, since it's ultra low sulfur diesel, it is more refining to it.
No,
so we have to rise. That's what they're saying.
It passed through a filter, maybe. They got it a little higher out of the column in the distilling part. It's. Is
that a little dock?
No, it's a little.
Hey.
Are you gonna drink your gripe water or what?
Hey, he's disappearing. It's a ghost.
Ghost baby.
There we go.
Yeah.
He has hiccups. So yeah, it's $2.60 a gallon. I have to say
gas, but I paid $3 something here for gas. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I paid a lot. I have to say
it was $3.30 a gallon for gasoline today.
I have to say that North Dakota doesn't have a very high tax, and they are an ethanol producer, and that probably has a lot to do with it. Because we produce a ton of ethanol. We have an ethanol plant like 20 miles out to the west.
Yeah, I don't want.
I know you guys have a lot of ethanol in your gas, eh?
I don't want ethanol in my gas.
Well, it depends on what one you
get. I used to gas up when I used to go to the United States, it's always a big percentage of ethanol in the gas.
It's 50, it all depends on it all depends on what one you get, because if you have a flex fuel vehicle, there is a ethanol where it's 85%. What you normally would see is 15%.
No.
Yeah, that's it.
15% is unleaded 88 is what they call it. It's 15% ethanol. Normal gas that's 87 octane is generally 10% ethanol. And they say the ethanol cleans your engine, but I don't believe it.
No, it helps it burn cleaner.
Mm-hmm.
So it causes supposedly less pollution. But a big problem with fuel prices around the United States, and I'm sure it probably happens up north too, is they got formulas for every for every area. Like there's 56 different formulas just for the state of California for the same fuel. So it meets EPA standards in those areas.
Well, if we didn't kill off the people that made things like the Oldsmobile, we'd have less environmental issues.
Yeah.
Look that up one day, Verm. I don't know. Maybe we talked about that one time.
Yeah.
Technically, actually, electric vehicles were dominant for a while.
Well, electric vehicles are going down the crapper. Hybrids the way to go.
No. I'm talking back in the early 1900s. Like in New York City and all that, it was basically all electric vehicles.
Yeah, it was battery technology and gasoline and.
Yeah, but it was easier to produce, and it went farther than a battery. That's why it went to gas. And when it came to us trucks,
because gas made money, the batteries didn't. The
Well,
same reason why
I could take gasoline and take it down the road with me, and when my car gets empty, fill it up. There's no way to take the cord with me.
Did you change the background, Verm?
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Okay.
just realized I still have my horse.
But
There you go.
like I said, like when you get an electric vehicle, you got to find some place to plug it in.
We don't.
hybrid's
Well, don't
the way to go.
I agree with that. A
And I'm not
gas
talking about
and
plug-in hybrid. I'm talking about gas electric hybrid.
Yeah,
That plug-in
that's what I'm
hybrid
talking about
was the
too.
dumbest thing Toyota ever did.
That's what Truck Sam's going to get. He's going to get an Aptera or something like that. That way he can
Well,
just
that
leave it out in the
happens.
parking lot and it'll charge itself. 40 miles
Well,
a
we
day.
should-
I will
Uh,
tell you, like, coming back from Colorado, what blew my mind is I was getting 32 miles a gallon, driving 82 miles an hour the whole way home.
because you're going downhill.
I didn't know it was that much. Then I killed a
Yeah.
pheasant.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing is, Colorado Springs.
Roadkill. What have you hit in your car? You've hit a pheasant. What have you hit? Have you hit anything good, Verm? Moose?
No, never. No, I didn't.
I hit a bird to a different bird.
Maybe a
skipped off
skunk
my window.
somewhere. Maybe a skunk somewhere, but I didn't hit him.
I think the only thing I've really ever hit is like a chipmunk. Yeah.
Oh,
man,
I've hit so much that you don't even.
I'm pretty sure it was a pheasant. I seen it hit, and I heard it hit, and then I looked out my window, and that thing was like rolling down the road like it was on fire.
No. I remember something. Sorry, Doc, I cut you. I remember now. You know, you're talking about a moose, but it's not a moose. It's a deer.
Oh, you hit a deer?
Yeah, but you know how I hit that damn deer?
No.
I was on the auto route, and I was like, you know, slowing down because of the traffic. I was wondering what the hell was going on. The deer comes out between two cars, and he starts running, and it was a young deer. So and he was going, and I was going, fuck, he's coming to me. He's you know. So I slowed down my car because I was like I was speeding. You know, I mean, you know, I was at 100 kilometers.
Yeah.
So I slowed down, and I see him coming, and he was like wild because, you know, there's all the traffic. He was scared. So I was able to slow down to about 10 kilometers. And then he came right in front of my truck and he hit the bumper. Poof. And then I look at him. I go like, you know, I'm in my pickup and I'm going, what the heck just happened? And then he pops up again and he looks at me and he starts running. He left a little bit of fur on my bumper, but yeah. But I didn't kill him.
Didn't kill him.
But it's scary when you see that
Well,
thing coming.
And it's good you probably didn't hit him at a good speed, because I have seen deer, especially on these newer trucks, just rearrange that whole front end.
You know, actually, deer kill a lot of people in the U.S.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
I can tell you that I know Verm hasn't hit a moose though.
I didn't hit him.
Because-
Why? Because he's
Because he's still here. Because moose will kill you. Moose will kill truck drivers.
Oh, yeah.
Because the legs. Because the legs.
It all depends on what vehicle you hit it with. If you hit it
you
with
hit
a
it-
passenger, if you hit it with a
I
passenger
got an
car,
American
you're
pickup.
probably going to survive. But if you got
I
a
got an
pickup
American
truck, that thing's coming in through the windshield. You're dying.
Pickup? Yeah.
Pickup, it's coming right because you're gonna
Because the legs are so long.
The legs are so long that when you hit it with the legs, it just collapses. Where when a car hits a moose, the legs kind of throw out and the moose kind of just rolls over the car.
So it breaks through the window.
Yep.
Oh.
Well, mind me one time I
I'm
was
not
on
in the
US.
moose. I'm not in the moose area. So I'm okay.
Well, mind me one time I was in Colorado on US 50 going to Montrose, and this moose was walking across the road, and all of a sudden I had to slam on the brakes, and he did the splits right there in front of me, and that moose got up, and when he got up, he looked me dead in the eye. We're both literally looking at each other dead in the eye in the middle of the road. That's how tall that moose was.
Yeah.
He was literally equal with my, in my truck.
Wow.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah. And there's some parts of it, like, you go up in Maine, there's a truck stop, what I heard, was you don't blow your air horn at a certain time of the year because they'll take it as a main call. And
You
one
serious?
guy, yeah. And what happened
I
was
was
the
so
guy,
air horn in my tree stand.
well, it was something where he blew his horn, and all this moose came out and wrecked his guy's truck.
Yeah.
And they said, yeah, you get around moose during mating season, do not blow your air horn.
So blow my air horn and I'm getting my handgun.
You better bring home something bigger than a handgun.
Yeah.
No, I got a handgun for it.
Is it that one you were telling me about?
My new one. I'll drop it.
The alien?
No, my 7.5 FK Bruno.
Oh, okay.
So I picked up a new handgun, Verm.
You did?
It shoots through body armor.
Level 3 body armor.
It just goes right through it. Just makes a neat little hole.
So
and it'll do it at 100 yards.
What are you going to do with that gun?
It's going to be my
He's
bear
a gun
gun.
freak. He's a gun freak.
It's going to be my bear gun.
Well, that's what I'm trying to I'm figuring that out. I mean, I know him for the past more than 10 years, and I'm seeing he's a gunsmith. He has all these guns. I'm going, he has so many guns that.
I'm a collector.
I'm
an enthusiast.
He almost puts a gun store to shame.
Yeah, and you know what? I even told Akai, I go, the day I decide, something goes wrong and on the planet, I'm gonna go to his house. So I wish we'll be protected with guns.
Yeah.
Why are you saying no?
Make it.
You just got to bring poutine.
Yeah, I'll figure out how. Anyways, if ever something goes on, I'm gonna be able to cross the border.
Well, like I said, he can probably start a war and get halfway through before he has to get more ammunition.
He'll pick it up on the road.
No,
Police your kills. Reload, restock. Police your kills.
Don't you?
Yeah, exactly. So you don't have to worry about that in any kind of war. If you shoot the other guy and he has a gun, you just take his bullets.
That's what I said.
Well, well, what I'm saying is, what he has, he can start a war and get halfway through before he has to look. Start a series of looking.
Yeah,
dude.
But let's not publicize this.
I don't have that much. I do not have that much. I know people that do have that much. I know a guy that's got enough to start a war.
Oh, God.
He's got tanks. He's got artillery. He's got everything.
Oh, he's got all them heavy.
Is that Dragon
Man? He's got all the licensing. Yeah, Dragon Man.
Yep.
He's got enough. He's got a whole museum full of stuff that actually works. It's all original, World War II to present.
Yeah.
And it's Verm. It's absolutely amazing museum this guy's put together. It's like a 3 or 4 hour tour.
Are you serious? Yeah.
Everything in there is live.
You pay, I don't know, some amount of money to shoot his machine guns and everything else.
Like every machine gun you see on a truck is a fully automated machine gun. It's not a repro. It's an actual machine gun.
Okay.
I hate to
if it's got a mortar in there, if it's got a cannon, if it's got an artillery piece, it's live. It could fire live ammunition like it did back in World War II. He even has the cyanide capsules for the Japanese soldiers.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you want to do with that?
He just keeps it as a museum. It's a museum piece.
Oh, okay.
You could go during the summer months, spring and summer, into fall before the weather gets too bad. He does these tours every third or fourth weekend or whatever it is. They'll have a tour, and you can go out there, and there's usually a couple hundred people, and they all walk through the museum, and he walks them through, and he goes like, "Oh, this is a blah blah blah, and this is special because it has this, and these are the uniforms that they were wearing." And he's absolutely an amazing guy. Got a heck of a story. He came from I think he came from New York or something like that. But
okay.
Does he have a Davy Crockett?
That'd be cool.
Oh wow!
Wait, Sam, how come every time
Doug just shared me the website? It's
every time I've been to your house, how come we've never talked about this? Is it always a bad time of the year?
Well, what we need to do is go when he has a machine gun shoot. But
It's called the freedom shoot, right?
The sad thing is a lot of times when I go to that thing, I've already shot a lot of it. I've shot a lot of those machine guns from a lot of different countries, and I'm always looking for something new that I haven't shot.
Okay.
And I think I'm getting to that point in my life where, like, I've shot that.
September 13th and 14th this year. It's called the Freedom Shoot.
I want to shoot a Lottie. That's next.
Okay.
It's a 20 millimeter anti-tank rifle. I want to shoot one.
Ain't there a place where a bunch of collectors get together once a year and they have
Virginia, and they have one out in Vegas. It's Vegas. I think it's out in Vegas.
Yeah, Vegas. Arizona. I remember seeing that in a YouTube thing, Vegas.
But it's all collectors, and they get out there and they just shoot machine guns all weekend long.
Well, ain't there like one place that that does like mortar? I mean, they build heavy equipment.
They do everything.
Oh, okay.
So
it's crazy, eh?
That's American for you.
There are some crazy collectors out there. I am by far not in that category.
You're a collector. Let me. You're an aficionado. You have guns because you like them or because they do something.
But I mean, have a purpose. There are guys that I know that have hundreds of rifles, thousands of pistols, and they collect 1A as an investment, 2 but they've been collecting since they were, old enough to buy, and now they're 70 and 80 years old. And if they have that firearm original from 1950, like a Browning or whatever, and they bring it out with box and papers and they put it on the auction market, it goes for a pretty penny. It goes for way more than he paid for it.
Yeah. Well, it's almost like when you bought that.
He just stored it. He just stored it for the last 50 years.
Well, it's like that one gun you bought, that replica of that M1A.
It's not a replica. It is an M1A.
Okay. Well, I thought it was a reproduction, wasn't it?
No. It's a special edition. There's only 1,974 of them ever made.
Yeah, and
I own one.
And tell them what you told the gun shop what you don't do with it.
I'm going to shoot the snot out of that thing. It'll probably be the only one that gets fired.
And you know what the gun shop said?
Good.
What do you say?
How about it?
They said that's what they're made for. They're made to shoot. They're not made to sit on a wall.
Well,
they thought he was nuts.
And that's the problem with guns. People want to get, they'll buy an AR and they'll be like, oh, I'm just going to hang this on the wall for my time in military service. What? Well, if I had George Washington's gun that he shot at the when he was crossing the Potomac to kill the British, I would put that on the wall after I shot it once. But
I might have
it. It's just like
you're giving a weird look. I have a rifle in my collection from 1776.
What I'm saying is the actual rifle that he shot, like not a rifle from that period. And if you have a rifle,
I have a rifle from the Civil War too.
Crazy.
The rifle from the Civil War. The rifle from the Civil War that I have has notches in the stock.
That means the guy was a pretty good shot. It's like you don't go buy a fridge, Verm, for the fridge to sit there and do nothing.
No.
You buy it to to cool and freeze food, right?
That's what I don't get about collector cars and collector. Yes, I collect weapons, but I collect them so I can shoot them, so I can learn from them and experience what it was like to shoot that weapon. What were some of the problems they had back then that I have now. But it's like car collectors literally will buy a car that's worth millions of dollars and never drive it.
Like
Never.
Jay Leno's a good example. That guy has more cars than anybody that I can tell you has cars.
Yeah, but the ones he can drive, he drives.
Okay.
He takes out that F1 McLaren. He still drives that to this day. I mean, he those steam cars, he takes out on the road and he drives them around. Because this is one thing I do admire about that man is when he goes in to get a car, he will do a full restoration. He will spare no expense to make that thing run again.
Well, I'll give you an example. I knew a guy, my ex-father-in-law knew a guy that had Jordan cars. I'm not talking about Michael Jordan. Jordan was a car brand from the early 1900s. And I rode in it because it had real bumpers. And what I mean by real bumpers, you'd bump into the car in front of you and it would push back into the wheel to make the wheel stop. Like a bumper. And Jay Leno had actually come out one time to try to buy him, and he didn't want to sell him the car because the guy drove his car, his Jordans, all the time. And he didn't want it to go in a garage. Which has been now 15 years. So Jay Leno's changed in the last 15 years. He started driving his cars more because his biggest knock on him was, well, he buys a car, but he doesn't drive it.
Yeah, and some of the cars are too expensive to drive.
Yeah.
You look at that Barrett Jackson auction stuff. Holy crap. You ever watch that Barrett Jackson auction, Verm?
No, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Barrett Jackson auction is something they do down in Arizona? I think it's down in Arizona. But these car buyers come from all over the country. You can bid online, you can do all this stuff. And they're bringing in Ferraris, they're built in there, bringing in, and it depends on what auction you go to, but some of these auctions get pretty millions of dollars for a car. Multiple millions. It gets ridiculous.
Okay.
Like people over in Saudi Arabia and Dubai are bidding on cars. People from all over the world come to certain Barrett Jackson auctions to buy those cars, just so they could say, I own it.
I bought a car at a Barrett Jackson auction.
Man.
That's what they want to say. I haven't.
Yeah.
I don't got that money.
No. And I got a buddy. That's how he makes his money. He services these cars for these people. He can literally go in and make straps and alternator things and brackets and make them look exactly original. So that way, when you put them in, if yours rusted out, he can make he made a gas tank for a Ferrari one time. Who knows how many thousands of dollars that guy had to pay for this guy to make him a gas tank.
Yeah.
But you couldn't tell the difference. You could not tell the difference. Well, yeah, you can buy it from Ferrari. In 10 years, you might get it. But, some things you can buy from Ferrari, and some things they'll just be like, nah, SOL. But people want to keep them original because they're worth more money original.
Okay.
And it's like when you sell something and it's got all the original parts, it's worth more money than it is, with a different engine and different transmission. And yeah, so these guys will pay big money to have original made looking parts put back in their car.
Wow.
Even go as far as patinaing the part before they put it in. Make it look like it's 40 years old, 50 years old.
So, Akai, we're going to have to keep some for next week. talking
Okay.
about all these. All right, we're already at that point at 106. Ladies and gents, thank you very much for everybody who was connected with us and was listening to us. I'm gonna let Akai go on all that, all his shebang, what he usually do. But please come and listen to us on our audio podcast from Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Podcast. Come and listen to us. Come and help us out. Join our stuff, and I'm gonna let Akai hit the rest.
Please like and subscribe. Go out to our website at vermlandradio.com. Go to our swag shop, buy stuff there. Stuff goes to the station. We don't get paid anything. We do it for the fun. And then go out to our different platforms. Please like and subscribe, and we will see you guys next week.